Hi, it's your creative friend Katrin U, and I'm so excited to finally share this with you. I founded this new community which is called Create and Live, and with this community I am on a mission to find out about other artists and designers' good habits, workflows, and also find out about their work-life balance, how they achieve this. And so this first interview partner I had is such a lovely person. She radiates positive vibes and is so cool and knows what she's doing. And she was really patient with me because obviously I struggle a lot with when it comes like communication. And I often look for words and throw in all these unnecessary, redundant filler words. But I figured I need to start somewhere, and it is what it is for now. So I hope if you are a fellow artist or designer, you find something valuable in this interview. I think she shared a lot of good information that I also maybe use for my workflows or try it out at least. So if you consider yourself a lifelong learner and are curious about how other artists and designers juggle their day-to-day lives, then keep on watching. And if you like it, leave me a thumbs up and comment or subscribe to the channel so you get updated on future videos. Okay, enjoy watching. Keeping it real. Hi, it's Katrin U, and I'm pretty excited because this is my first one-on-one chat with a fellow creative, and today I'd like to chat with her. She is an illustrator, a surface pattern designer, an online educator, and actually a top teacher on Skillshare. And we just want to talk about habits and best practices for creative persons. So it's Kristina Hultkrantz, and I'm very happy that you've agreed to do this. So hi there, Kristina.
Hi, yeah, this is fun. I'm honored to be the first guest.
Yes, I'm happy to have you as the first guest. I'm so happy you agreed on this. And so actually, I'm at a time in my creative business where I'm sometimes, you feel like overwhelmed and don't know, you have so much going on also in your private life and everything. And it's sometimes difficult to decide what do I do today because the to-do list is so long. So I just decided to take a step back a couple of months ago and try to find a new routine that would allow me to calm down a little bit. And actually doing this, I had the idea to just ask other fellow designers about their good habits that maybe help them with their creative business. So I'd like to ask you, do you have any habits that you think have a very positive impact on your life as a creative entrepreneur?
Yeah, well,
You'd like to share with us?
there is so much. And what you shared is what I think every person, not just creatives, go through, but at one time or another, or like every other day, I think we can feel a little overwhelmed, and me too. But after I have been a full-time illustrator now for 13 years, so I can't say that this has been since the beginning, but in the last few years, since 2020, I've like gotten my stuff together and it feels amazing. So what I have done is I've learned what to focus on that actually brings me money and brings me income and feeds my creativity. And I only focus on those things. I don't do commissioned projects anymore because I don't like working with one-on-one clients. Doesn't feed me. I don't do social media anymore unless I feel like it. If I want to post something, I do. But before, I would create images to post on Instagram. That stressed me out so much. I was like planning constantly how it's going to look, and it didn't look good, and I'm not making enough followers. And why am I not getting followers? Like that whole thing has stressed me so much. So I've let that go. It does not matter, and it does nothing for my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally realized that. People are constantly saying, oh, you have to have Instagram. And I like weirdly still think you need to have Instagram, but you don't need to be posting on there all day, every day. What else? So yeah, limiting my workload has been the thing that I do. So I work for my agent. I have to create 2 collections per month. So I create those, and then I work on my teaching content. So I have Skillshare classes. I do those maybe every other month or every 3 months, like whenever I feel like it, And then I'd have Patreon now. So that's like one every month, but I've only added the amount of work that I know that I can get through. I'm not a workaholic, and I think that also helps my personality that I've never understood these people. I hear interviews and they're like, I can't stop working and I work weekends and I haven't taken a day off in 20 years. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what? How have you never taken vacation? If you're you have your own business, why wouldn't you take vacation all the time? That's what I do. But I think it has to do, like, I live in Sweden. In the summertime, most people who have real jobs, they get 5 weeks off. So my boyfriend has 5 weeks off in the summertime. So I've always taken that too. And that's amazing. Nothing's drastic's going to happen to your business in 5 weeks. Not everybody in the entire universe is going to forget about you. So I've just decided what it is that helps me in my business. And yeah, so that was that part. But we can talk about other things too.
And that's funny you mentioned social media, because I think a lot of creatives, if not all, feel like have some love-hate relationship with it. And it's the same for me, because I also sometimes I have these times where I just post and feel the need to post like regularly, but then it's been some days now, and I'm fine with it. When I noticed that now some time's passed, I'm like, it's just how it is. And I'm not stressing myself out over social media as well, or at least I try to, because sometimes I fall into the trap. You go on social media and see all the nice things that people are posting, and it's difficult. But this is also something I try to take a step back from time to time. And yes, that's really, social media can be really nerve-wracking thing to do.
And it's not just like seeing other people's lives and they seem like they have it all together. Like I can see past that, because I know that people are just sharing their best work, their best life, but just like that feeling like, oh, I have to post, otherwise nobody will know who I am. I won't make any money. I won't ever get any clients. But I've just, that's not how I get clients right now. So
yeah, right. So do you I wanted to come back later, because you told me about how you juggle with your creative work, like you're doing the collections and what you're trying to focus on. And I also feel like that all my things I have going on in my personal life also have a very big impact on how I work how I do my work in the day-to-day work as a creative, the workday. And so what I've been doing is I started to do yoga some months ago and also started to journal again. And I saw that you have a really long journal practice. I guess you've done this for quite some time, for several years already. And journaling, I wanted to talk with you a little about it because I feel that this has had a really good impact on my thinking and how I approach like day-to-day tasks, because I have so much going on, and you have so much thoughts, and also with kids, we both have kids, so you have to be their manager as well, all the things that come in from preschool and school, and sometimes I feel like, oh my god, how I'm gonna keep my things together. And so journaling has helped me a lot with it. So I just wanted to ask you about this, your journal.
Yeah.
Practice.
Well, I totally agree. Yeah, being like a micromanager for two tiny people and trying to figure out their lives, yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, that's another thing that I've given myself grace. When they were little, when they were babies, they needed me a lot. So I just I didn't do everything that I wanted to do in my life. And I knew that that was just a part of that season or that phase of my life. So I never read books. Like I love reading, but I just didn't have time to. So there was like 5, 6 years that I didn't read books. And I felt empty because of that. But I was just like, okay, I'll catch up later. Or yeah, same thing with sleep. Like, I'll catch up on sleep later. But yeah, journaling, I've been doing that for the past, I think, 8 years. Every day. I have one of those. Let's see, I have it right here. I have this. It's in Swedish. 5-års dagbok, 5 years, 5-year day book. It's called, but it's 5 for every year. So every year on the same day, you write what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
So then you can go back and see what you did the year before.
Oh, that's cool.
So I know what the temperature was because I always write the temperature and weather because that's what's fun. But then also just sometimes it's mundane things, like it's actually what we were doing. But sometimes when it's just like a day when you didn't really do anything important, I write what I was grateful for, or something cute that my child did, or how I felt. And just being able to put that down on paper, even though this is a tiny entry, it just it means a lot to me. And now I've filled already a whole other book with my thoughts and feelings. And I had a whole separate book when I was pregnant, and I had that whole experience written down because that's a huge life impacting thing that happens to you. So just getting it out on paper. So that's what I do day to day. That's just small entries, and it's mainly mundane things, but I do make sure to see the good in every single day.
Yeah,
that helps me. It has helped me be a more positive person because I'm thinking about that. I want to be positive. I am naturally positive, but it helps. I've also tried the journaling practice, like the artist way, where you do 3 pages and you just write. And I don't do that very often, but when you feel that cloud in your head and you can't get past it, sitting down and just writing like crazy your thoughts onto 3 pages of paper, it takes half an hour to do, but it releases something in your head. It doesn't matter what you're writing. You can just write oh, I feel crazy in my head and I blah, blah, blah. But after 30 minutes, it actually releases and that goes away.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing how that works. I don't know how that works, but it works.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about because, actually, through journaling, I had this idea of interviewing other designers, and because I felt like the things I had changed already, like the yoga routine and then the journaling, it had a lot of impact on the day, the wait, I don't recall the word now. How I worked, just how I worked, and also that I had my head was more free for the creative stuff, you know. And I also like to go a couple of pages back and then read what I've done. I don't do it like you, that you have the possibility to check a year back or even 5 years back, because I just started now, and I can show you I have only just the, basically it's just a journal, really simple one, and then I only have the pages, and I just write down. I think I try to start every day with writing down what I'm trying to focus on right now, and then also every other thing that's going through my mind at this time. And then later in the day, if I can do it, I also try to write down something that went really great this day, or that I'm grateful for as well. And then I feel I have a lot better sleep, because before I started journaling, when I lay down in bed, it was like everything was going through my mind, and I jumped from one thought to another, and I didn't even remember in the end what I started with in the beginning, you know. And now it's like my mind is so much calmer at night, and I can just have some good sleep, which of course already also helps with your day-to-day routine, and you have more energy during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So since we're already talking about sleeping and getting up or feeling energized, I wanted to ask you about your ideal work day. What does your ideal work day look like?
Well, I am very privileged that my ideal workday almost happens every day. Almost, it doesn't always, but yeah, after wrangling the kids, and hopefully I've slept through the night. My daughter, who's 4, still wakes me up every so often, but yeah, full night's sleep. Yeah, get the kids to school, and my whole family, we get in the car and we drive to school. And I drop off my daughter, and my boyfriend drops off our son. And then I walk home, and it takes 30 minutes to walk home from my daughter's school. And that's also another time where I can just when you're walking, and it's a really straight path. It's pretty boring, and it's right by with the street. So there's tons of cars on their way in to drop off their kids. But it's still I'm in my own world. It's amazing. It's a beautiful nature on the other side. So I just pay attention to the other side, not the cars. And I listen to audiobooks or my own thoughts, and that's another thing, to just clear my brain before I get home. And you use your body. So 30 minutes, that's very refreshing. And now it's winter, so it's been very cold. So you just feel alive when you come inside, and you're melt a little bit. So I love that. And then I love if I have a project that I'm working on and I sit down to draw, and I've already figured out what I'm going to draw, and I'm just sit down and create it. And that feels like such a wonderful day when I'm just sitting there doing that. Because sometimes I feel when you're in between projects and trying to figure out what to draw next, that's kind of stressful. But when I know when I'm going to sit down and draw, and I just sit down to do it, that's such an amazing day. And I love breaking up my day by doing something else. I love baking bread. So I love today I'm actually baking bread. So every 30 minutes I have to go and do stuff to it. So then I get out of my zone too, because sometimes I can just sit here for hours and not look at anything else. And so just getting up to walk into the kitchen, fix with my bread, and come back, that really is the best. Yeah. Yeah. And then my work day usually ends at 3. And then I go get the kids. And I love to come home and take out the art supplies again, because then I see that as like art playtime. I've been doing art all day, but it's been for work. So when I have the kids at home, I can take out all the art supplies and I get to see how they enjoy art making, and it makes me so inspired and like do something else. So I just want to prolong making art, but because doing it with them feels different. So yeah, that's my ideal work day. And yeah, I love it. But I do so many other things too that I enjoy. I enjoy creating my videos and classes and writing newsletters and creating content like that. But yeah, when you really have a art piece that you really enjoy creating and sitting and working on that, that's pretty excellent.
That's cool. So do you are you able to create every day, or when you say like there's a lot of things going on, you create classes and have your newsletter and everything, do you have like dedicated days to a topic, or is it like just the day before you think of what I'm going to do the next day? Because this is something that I'm struggling sometimes with, because yeah, I have certain days dedicated to creating, and then just doing some print on demand sites and uploading designs, and then suddenly other stuff comes in that I have to deal with before, and so everything's you have to be flexible, of course, all the time. But do you have a structure where you have some things dedicated to a certain day?
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, I've tried to say I'm going to do this on certain days, but yeah, life happens, kids get sick, I get sick, or you don't feel like doing something. Like that happens too. Like I'm just like, when you get that, like, oh, I don't know what to explain it. You just get this like fog in your head. You're like, I can't concentrate on doing emails right now. That's not happening. Or I just feel gross. I don't want to be on camera right now. So yeah, so I can talk quickly about my kind of like CEO days. Like today, I feel really good. So and even though it's Friday, and Friday I have kind of said is going to be fun Friday. I do what I want. I can color in my sketchbook all day if I want to, even though that's not my job and I'm not going to make me money. But that's what I want to do, I'll do that. Or if I want to do a Domestica class, I'll do that. So Friday has been my free day to do whatever. Like I can bake bread all day if I want to too. I have allowed myself to do that, and that feels amazing. And that helps me concentrate the rest of the week. I'm like, I have to get all these things done so that on Friday I can play and do whatever I want. So yeah, that's one thing that I've done. Friday's play day, but then I work month to month, and that has really made it easier on my life to just focus on one thing at a time. If I plan my whole year, I get disappointed, and I hate rescheduling stuff and moving things around. So I have a monthly schedule, and I have 3 things that I focus on that bring in income for my life, my job. And it doesn't matter what days I do them. If I do all of them in the first week, I check everything off, and then I can play for the rest of the month. That'd be awesome. That doesn't usually happen, but it could. So yeah, I have like I just like everything on here needs to get done. And all the stuff fits on 3 little Post-its. It's not too much. I figured out what is doable for me with my free content on Skillshare classes or Patreon and my agent. I figured out like what works for me and how much I can do. And I can also have days off, and yeah. So this works for me, and I don't have specific days. I have specific days where certain things post, and I make sure to do that at least like a week before or a couple days before, because stuff can happen. But otherwise, sometimes I do it the same day, and that's okay too. So I don't get down on myself if I don't check that box. But on that day that I well, I don't know. There's certain things that I want to get done, you know, that I have to get done on certain days, but for the most part, it's pretty open, and I don't have like I have to get this done by that day. As long as I get it done by the end of the month. So that's what I've been doing. And yeah, I have like CEO days, I've called that before. Now, I used to have like one day that I did it. Now I've kind of broken it up into 2 days. And that's also at the end of the month, I will have a day where I'm planning all the content that I'm creating for all my teaching stuff and Facebook and like, yeah, that kind of stuff. I will prepare email newsletters and things like that, or what I'm going to be talking about, or what I'm going to be creating. So I have a day where I plan what I'm going to do. But again, that day I don't put it in here. I just do whenever I feel like it. And then at the beginning of the next month, I go back and I have a day, usually like the first Monday or Tuesday of the month. And I go in and like look at my finances, because that's important as a small business. I actually like have to go in and see like how much money did I actually make this month? How many online classes did I buy, and how many pencils? Like how much was that actually? And just like calculate that, save all my receipts for the stupid what they're called, taxes. Just make sure that's all in order. So I do that every month, so that my uncle helps me with my taxes. But
that's great.
At the end of the month, it's all already done. I don't have to do tons of stuff at the end of the year. It's already done every month. That makes me feel really safe and secure. Yeah, and then you pay attention to things like, especially with my agent, I can see like, oh, those things sold. That's cool. Maybe I should do more of that kind of stuff. That's what I do to make sure. But yeah, it's a lot about, I've figured out the perfect amount of stuff that I can do in my work life that doesn't feel overwhelming, because I don't like working all the time. I like taking breaks. I like vacation. I have no problem shutting off my computer. I think that's really healthy. Just because you're working more doesn't mean that you're actually getting anything done.
Yes.
So figuring out those things that are gonna move your creativity forward, move your business forward, is important to figure out.
Yeah, I totally agree. So thanks for sharing this, your concept that you schedule out everything for like a month. I actually now at this moment, I try to schedule like weekly, but I'm always open to try new things because, yeah, it's like the same for me with the kids. You don't know what happens when, and you get sick and everything you mentioned, life happens. So I also have my like ideal day where I block my time and try to focus on things. But yeah, every so often things happen. And if you're not flexible, at first I felt like a little bit stressed out and even got frustrated when I wanted to do certain things. And then you're not able to do it because certain things happen, and but you can't get frustrated. It's like it's just the way it is, and you have to find like ways to cope with such things and stress and everything to yeah, and not be too hard on yourself, and just yeah.
That's what I felt like before I had all these on my checklist, but I also said I was going to do one post a day on Instagram and post to Pinterest and do a blog post. It's like there's so many things that I, of course, couldn't check off all those things. And then I felt like such a loser that I can't get all this done. But yeah, I realized that it doesn't matter. And yeah. Of course, if I did all those things, maybe that would bring something, but it's not worth it to me right now because, yeah, it just makes me feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to realize that you can't do everything in a day, because it's something I was trying to do. And I just started this community, right? The Create and Live community. And I actually shared a post, I guess, maybe 2 days ago, where I have this expectation versus reality. Like, expectation is like, I have all my things on my list, right? So many things that I want to check off. But then in reality, there's only like 2 or 3 things I can really do and focus on and get done. But then they're gone. I've done them and can really check them off. And but if I try to do like 5 or 10 days, then 10 things in a day, then it's just like haphazardly jumping back and forth, and then you have all the tabs open on your computer, and in the end, then it's like you have done maybe some things, but not, it's not really good for yourself, and maybe, the outcome is not in a quality that you wanted to do from the beginning.
No.
Yeah,
definitely not.
So, are there any difficult situations like that occurred in when you're working and you're focused? And sometimes last week, for example, I had a problem with my printer because we had changed our router, and I had forgotten to I forgot to do all the settings so the printer would be connected, and it was like I hate like these technical issues, but it was like something at first I noticed some anger coming up and it was like, oh no, it seems like this just happened all the time, and I'm working on just trying to breathe deeply in and out a couple of times and just relax, and eventually I figured it out real faster than I'd expected. And then afterwards, like, when you know you've given yourself some time and just step back and do it, then you feel better about yourself as well. Do you have and there's a lot of other things that could happen, right? Like health issues, or these technical issues, or if you just planned on creating on your Fun Friday, and then you sit down and have like a blog, create a blog. So is there anything you do when unexpected or difficult situations occur that you do? How do you deal with such things?
Yeah, I totally had that printer situation when we moved into this house. Yeah, just like, why something that should take like 3 minutes took 2 hours to figure out, and it just felt like such a waste. I could have been drawing or doing something fun, and to fix that. So that's annoying. So stuff like that happens all the time, or you get sucked into something else. But I can't say that anything huge has ever happened. Last year, I was sick so much. I've never been so sick in my life. My kids brought home every single cold that ever existed, it felt like. And because I never got to like heal, I just constantly was sick and sick and sick. Not like super sick, just like a cold. It was just constant. So then my nose got like messed up, which is just like the weirdest thing. And I had to go see all these specialists, and I got all these medications, and I never take medications. Like, I hardly ever take headache pills. And I got not only was it annoying to be sick, but then I got these symptoms from the medication. So like my eyes swole up, like the like got a reaction. So I got reactions to these medicines, and I got another reaction to another medicine to get rid of the allergies. Okay. So then my stomach lining was destroyed. Like, I've never had to deal with stuff like that. So then I took very many sick days, and this kind of my to-do list for that month became really like the bare minimum. I did my collections for my agent, because at least you don't have to you can still work. I was just like my nose, like I wasn't feverish or something, so I could still draw. But I'm on camera a lot for my classes and stuff, and I sounded stuffy, and my eyes were all swollen. So it was just annoying that I couldn't do everything I wanted to, and there would be like moments where maybe in between these things that happened, I could film something and just apologize a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm stuffy. Like, whatever. Nobody really cares unless you're coming on like snot dripping out of your nose. Like, take it easy. So I gave myself a lot of rest. Last year, at the beginning of the year, last winter, I was working from the couch all the time. Yeah, I just did the bare minimum of what I needed to do. Funny enough, last year was my best year ever economically. It didn't impact that. So even though I didn't show up to my Facebook group as much as I wanted, I missed maybe 2 months or something. Like, nobody cared. It didn't, like, yeah, I definitely wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't posting on Pinterest. Like, I just focused on those things, like my collections for my agent so she could sell that. And I did make sure that I had a class on Skillshare. So when I posted a class, even if I had puffy eyes, I don't think you can, it was only me who could probably tell. But if you looked really close, you could see like my eyelids look a little weird. But it's like not a big deal. Like, who cares? Nobody's looking at my eyelids. They're looking at my they're looking at my art. So yeah, just like some people maybe they'll be like, I can't show myself because I look puffy. Like, it was just for 2 minutes when I showed my face, and then it's just my hands or whatever, you know? So it's just like, yeah, just realizing stuff doesn't matter, and it will get better later. So I enjoyed sleeping, taking naps and stuff all day. Like, I was pretty lazy last year, but yeah, I think maybe after that too, then I started to work. I don't know. No, I just took breaks, and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And I got better, I guess, ish. My nose is still weird.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Like, I had this similar situation. My throat is not good yet, but I also have been sick. We have been sick like I don't know, from January, and the kids, that's the same. They come home sick, and then they have like our sons having like swimming lessons, and then you think about, oh, can I send him to the swimming, or will the cold get even worse? So this is stuff like yeah, you have to deal with. But I agree, you have to really yeah, be careful with your health and take rests if you need to take rests, and then not feel bad about it. It's difficult at some days because you just feel like there's so much going on and so much you need to do or would like to do and have to do, but it's not worth it in the end, right? So yeah, if you're
also I sometimes I feel weird about talking stuff like that because some people have it so much more difficult than me and my silly nose problems. But I also live in Sweden, a country that takes care of me. So these doctor's visits, they cost like $20. And then once you get up to 120, then it's free.
Oh, okay.
You know, so yeah, there's like a limit to your per year how much it will cost. So I never have to worry about taking care of myself because I know that it doesn't cost enough, or it doesn't cost a lot. Because when I grew up in America, going to the doctor is like every time it's like, what is this going to cost me?
Yeah,
can't afford it, I won't go to the doctor. But yeah, so that's something I've always thought about, like, oh, it's quite easy for me to say. And then also when my kids are homesick from school, I get paid because I have to take care of my kids. And then of course we also have like that amazing maternity and paternity leave. I still have days left I haven't used, and I can
that's great.
because we get 480 days per child.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm still using those days. Like, yeah. So next week is Easter break, so I have some maternity leave to use. So yeah, stuff like that. So I am very secure where I'm living, that I'm being taken care of. Not only, yeah, so I can take care of myself. I wanted to just say that because, yeah, there's not everybody's situation, unfortunately.
So yeah, I totally agree that the healthcare system in Germany is pretty good. I think, in my opinion, especially if you compare it to countries like America or even countries that don't even have a healthcare system, right? So I think we're pretty blessed, and yeah, I'm happy because we've also had some issues with health in the past, and I was so lucky that we had this coverage. And yeah, of course, it's easy to complain, you know, but when you put everything in perspective, then you can just yeah, realize sometimes that you're in a good situation, and it's not that bad at all. So I think
Yeah.
here in Germany and Sweden, where we also had I also had these maternity leaves like twice for our kids. I'm not sure about the days, but it was a lot of time as well, and so I was really lucky I could do this. And yeah, so
Yeah, not everybody. So just nice to mention that. Yeah.
yeah,
Because it is nice to not have to stress about that part of life, at least. I won't have huge medical bills ever.
yeah, right.
But yeah.
So another thing I wanted to ask you is if you have because you started out like 13 years ago, I think, with your career, your creative business.
Yeah,
Is it
that's when I went
13
full
years?
time. So it
Yeah,
was before
yeah,
that I also did on the side, but yeah.
yeah,
Officially since 2010.
yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you if you have any advice that now, knowing all the having all the experience from the past years, advice that you would like to give to your younger self or to other creatives that are just starting out with building their creative business.
Mm. Yeah, so much stuff that I wish I could have told. But yeah, the main thing I wish I would have known is that there's not one set way of doing stuff. I was so stressed that I was doing everything wrong, that I was writing an email wrong, that I was creating my art wrong, that I was doing my business wrong, yeah, everything was wrong. I don't know what I'm doing because I didn't have any creative friends at that time. Yeah, and I had just moved to Sweden. Like, I didn't know pretty much anyone. Just like, yeah, felt I was doing everything wrong, but that's no such thing. Every business is different. Nothing. Yeah, just as long as you're doing things professionally, and yeah, then it's no problem. There's not one set way of doing things. And I learned that over and over again as I started to work with more and more clients and started having creative friends. Like, oh, we are trying to do things in the same way. That's cool. Or you do it like that, I do it like this. That's neat. Like, doesn't matter. Or yeah, that's one thing that I love about teaching and sharing is that, yeah, I can share. Like, no, don't worry about it. Ask questions along the way. It doesn't make you sound stupid, like you don't know anything. It makes it sound like you're professional and you want to understand what the client wants. Stuff like that. Also, what else did I wrote some note. Oh, learning. I wish after art school and all that, I spent so many years that I didn't learn new skills. I didn't learn how to properly use Photoshop. I taught myself. I didn't learn I didn't like take any classes or workshops because I thought that I had gone to university for 4 years to learn how to paint and draw. Like, I know how to draw now. I wish that I had done that for myself, that I continued to like sketch for fun or stuff like that to make my art better? Why just like continue to do the same thing over and over again? I found my style and I was like, this is what I do now. And I never pushed myself to learn something else or even just work on my art or try something different. It took a while for me to realize that was really important to me. So those are two things that I would have told myself.
Yeah, that's really helpful advice. Yeah, because I also think like finding yourself and finding not only a workflow but also your style. You know, everybody's talking about the signature style, and this can really stress you out when you're just starting out. And I think you just have to, it's good to know from the start that it's just an ongoing process, even for experienced designers. So it's something that just needs time. You have to give yourself the time and be patient. That's also something that I'm trying to remind myself of all the time. Be patient and just focus on the things that you enjoy and that move you forward, of course, because if I'd like to draw a lot more often, but then you have to deal like with some things like you do on the CEO day, your so-called CEO day. And yeah, you have to do the not so fun things as well, and just take your time and be patient. I guess that's a good.
And one reason why we chose this job is that we love to create art, and I was just always concentrating on creating work for clients or to sell, and that kind of takes the joy out of it. So now I've really realized that even if I'm painting in my sketchbook some kind of landscape that I'm never going to sell because it's not what I envisioned my art to be, it was still, I enjoy doing that for an hour, and that's important.
Of course.
Yes, stuff like that.
Great. So I think we've covered a lot. And would you like to share anything about the things that you're working on right now? What are you focusing on? And do you have any ongoing projects you'd like to share about?
Definitely. Yeah, so besides these collections that I create for my agent, and that feels like my day-to-day job, my work, so I do that. But besides that, I've always, since having kids, I've been wanting to create children's books. And so that's been a process that I've been working on for now like 2 years. I haven't really gotten it going. And that's like a thing that's been holding myself back because I've been doing this one thing, surface design, for so long that it feels so easy to me. And now switching over to do kids stuff, it's like a whole different industry. And then because I have the opportunity to take time, because it's like just my personal project, it takes even longer. And then I have like this artist crisis that I have to find like the perfect kids book style. And I want to like it. I'm not a perfectionist, but I want it to be as good as I envision it in my head. And it's not there yet. And it's so frustrating, but it's also exciting at the same time. So that's something I'm working on. And I'm constantly struggling with that. Like, oh, I want this to be like a new part of my business, maybe like I could publish my own children's books here in Sweden. I'm thinking of starting, at least because it's a smaller, easier market. But good grief, like that, it's because it's a lot of it's just silly artist thought. Like I have to remember to remind myself to like get started. Like I tell all my students, like start before you're ready. Like I know that I can draw. I know that I can do it. I just like I'm holding myself back because I want it to be really, really, really good. So trying to take my own advice to like just do it and share that kind of work and not think about it too hard. And yeah, I'm definitely trying to get a pitch out there soon before I like spend like 5 years on it. Like that's ridiculous. That's something. Also, I have these white canvases on my wall reminding me every single day that I want to paint something on them because
that's a cool idea.
because then I have to fill them with something one day. So maybe that will be my Easter break project to paint with the kids and I can paint something. But again, it's like, oh, it's gonna hang on my wall, so it has to be kind of good. And like I always have these envisions, in my head. I haven't painted in a long time. I went to school for that, but that was a long time ago. Almost 20 years ago, which is insane.
Oh, yes.
I graduated university in 2006.
Oh, yes. That's similar to me. Yeah.
Soon.
But I think that's a great idea to put on just the white canvas onto your wall. It's so also maybe to remind you, it's also a great reminder until you put something on there that's like you have some space maybe to think and just fill that canvas. I think it's a great idea.
I can almost also envision it because it's already on the wall and it's next to another artwork from another artist that I have.
But so
you can like envision.
Yeah. But you mentioned the book illustrations, the children's book, where you've put some of the illustrations on Instagram, right? Because I saw some of your illustrations and they are so cute. So please, please move forward.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really great. And this is something I think maybe all designers have in common, that like you're you're the hardest critic on yourself and you just hold stuff back. That's actually really great. I think it happens to a lot of creatives, that you're
exactly
overthinking and just holding it back, and instead of just putting it out there.
I'm so used to showing my other work and doing that it feels like whatever. So it's nice to have something that I have to work a little bit on and think about. And it's nice to have these personal projects that aren't necessarily something that it's so annoying to talk about money all the time, like, oh, I have to draw this because it's going to make me money, but that's like the main part of our jobs.
Actually, you don't have to feel bad about it.
I wish that we could just sit here and just draw and people would pay us, but I mean, it's not how it works. I really enjoy having personal projects, and it's important to me. And if it turns into something, maybe in 20 years I won't do surface design anymore and I'll just be a children's book illustrator, or maybe my painting will go really well and I'll become a painter.
The future painting, that's not there yet.
Maybe
I can imagine.
Why not? It's okay. If I've built up this like career in surface design, I am totally fine with saying goodbye to that and be like, that was cool, I enjoyed that for 20 years. Now I can be a painter for the rest of my life. Why not?
Cool. So I've really enjoyed this so much, Kristina. Thanks for having let us have an insight into your processes and habits, and also thank you for making me feel more comfortable, because I'm feeling so awkward because I have not done any video yet. So thank you so much for doing this. And I think I would just put all the information from your Instagram and Skillshare in the description below, I think, on this video. And then thank you so much again for doing this. And
thank you for asking me questions. It's always nice to think through these things, like, why do I do these things? And why has it impacted my life? And it's nice if it can, I'm sure you're going to have so much fun interviewing so many different people and I think learning new things. And,
And it's also
really
for me,
inspiring.
it was really helpful for me. And by just sharing this and putting it out, I hope it will be helpful for other creatives that start out and feel overwhelmed. And maybe also they see, so I'm not the only one, because sometimes when you just work from home and sit on your desk, then you think like, oh my God, I need to get it together. Everybody else is totally having it together, which is not the case, of course, but it's so easy to, just fall into this kind of thinking. So
Yes, it
thank you
is.
so much for doing it. I wish you all the best for your project, and maybe we stay in touch. And thank you so much, Kristina.
You're welcome.
So bye bye.
Bye.
See you.